United Methodism is becoming so stagnant that it seems like all that it is producing are flesh-eating mosquitoes. There are times I can hardly stand to be in the swamp waters of an institution with all of the negativity buzzing around me, threatening to eat me alive. But before I get into all of that, I guess I should first start with an introduction. My name is Reverend Sarah Thompson Tweedy, and I am a self-avowed practicing homosexual. But actually, this is a term with which I take deep umbrage. So, as many of you know, a complaint was filed against me for being married to a woman. And when the media picked up the story, I kind of had to get used to my name becoming synonymous with terms like self-avowed. You Google my name and such things pop up like practicing lesbian elder. When I was a little girl and I was asked what I wanted to be when I grew up, practicing lesbian elder was not what I had in mind. But I am so grateful for this national platform where I can clear one thing up once and for all. Brothers and sisters, I am not practicing. I'm professional. And if the IRD or Reps from Good News are here, make sure you quote me on that, please. You know, during that complaint process, and truly, during my lifetime of being a United Methodist, I had to come to terms with the reality that there are some who claim to be on my side, who pledge their support for LGBTQ persons, but are so institutionalized in their mindset that they protect the institution at all costs, but not the church. See, we are the church. The people who make it up are the church. And I had to come to a very sad realization that the church, which nourished me since childhood, was an institution that would stoop very low to protect itself. And suddenly, our institution was gearing up to put an effective pastor, a compassionate minister, a faithful wife, and a loving mother on trial, thinking that it was preserving itself. This was a really surreal experience for me. But you know, it's not just the haters who hurt queer people. You know, big it is as big as it does. We expect that. But the people I've been hurt by most are, in the words of Martin Luther King Jr., he called them the white moderate. The other night, someone used the term the Bushy Methodist middle. You know, the ones who ordained me with a wink and a nod in private, but publicly said things like, well, we gotta uphold that book of discipline. Or, Sarah, I'm okay with you being a lesbian, so long as no one files a complaint. They're the ones who say that we need to stop focusing on politics and focus on ministry. Considering that 40 to 60% of homeless youth are LGBTQ and are turned out on the streets as a result of religious bigotry, or that trans women of color aren't likely to see their 30th birthday. Well, that sounds like a really good place to be in ministry if you ask me. But you know, my favorite comes from a few bishops. Who recently suggested some guidelines for ministers for how we could be in ministry to same-sex couples who are asking their clergy to marry them in their churches. So you can say a little prayer, and you can read a scripture because those are chargeable offenses. Let me tell you what that sounds like to me. Here's some breadcrumbs, queer people. Yeah. I can't live off breadcrumbs. And furthermore, with friends like that, who needs Westboro? The institutionalists are trying to convince us that LGBTQ people and our allies, that we're the ones stirring up trouble in the institution. Now, this was epitomized during the complaint process when I was essentially told that if I denied being practicing, it would all just go away. Now, you see, right about the same time that a complaint was filed against me, things were gearing up for Frank Schaefer. And he went on trial. My buddy Frank in the house. There you go. You know, Frank's trial suddenly showed the institutionalists that trials weren't going to scare us. Our movement did not back down like they thought it would. And when Reverend Dr. Tom Ogletree was charged, over 30 United Methodist ministers in the New York Annual Conference alone said, "You try him, then you try me." And we publicly told our stories of performing same-sex weddings. And all of a sudden, when the rest of the world was watching us put a man on trial during Advent for performing his son's wedding, church trials suddenly weren't so bold. And for this reason, the door to make it all go away was held wide open to me. Now, Sarah, I'm going to ask you if you're practicing. You say no, and it's over. Now, let's get something clear. Not straight, but the indignity is not that I answered yes. The indignity is on the institution for asking me in the first place. I am sick and tired of the institution reducing LGBTQ people to our sexual acts. And then asking us to deny it if it's convenient for them. The civil rights movement taught us to put pressure on the institution until it has no choice but to change. Our institutional leaders won't leave our church, so we have to do it. We can't wait for the book of discipline to be changed, for us to be who we are, and for our relationships to be celebrated in the churches where we worship, in which we have worked as hard as anybody to be. I can't wait for General Conference 2080 to be my authentic, self-avowed, practicing, professional lesbian self. But furthermore, I'm not leaving the denomination. Because this is my church too. Sweep it away with the might of our love. At General Conference 2016, we cannot accept being voted in. Yes. And if we are, then we must be prepared to take additional recourse. No is no longer acceptable. And now, I just want to have a word with my queer clergy brothers and sisters. And I'm not excluding the rest of you, but the movement needs us right now. They need us to be out. And I don't mean 1 foot out of the closet out. Written into the book of discipline is the convenience of don't ask, don't tell. So long long as we live by that, we will be picked off one by one. We have got to get organized and start strategizing, not only about how to support one another, but what we are going to do when the next one of us is put in the crosshairs. I hear from LGBTQ seminarians and those who are in the ordination process who are getting tossed all the time because they can't and they won't live under Go National Film. I see you, Ed. And you could be the minister in my church any day. We have to stop telling queer clergy candidates and clergy to work within the book of discipline. And it's time for us to stand in the gap. Institutionalists like to make haughty statements that the United Methodist Church does not ordain practicing homosexuality. We need to show them that we're here. And when people see that their beloved pastors and ministers and prophets and counselors and teachers are queer, with few exceptions, love wins. When I was under complaint, Methodist and New Directions, aka mine, founded by Dorothy Benz, a great leader. Mine rose up to support me. Will the mind peeps in the house please stand? They stood with me and Reverend Dr. Tom Ogletree, and because of them, the institution backed down. With the great minds that we have in this room right here today, I think we can figure out how to get the support we need to have a national clergy coming out day in the United States. Who are in progressive congregations. In your next pastoral transition, insist on having a queer person. You see, when I look around this room, I see a great coalition. People of color, immigrants, lesbians, gay men, bisexuals, transgender, cisgender, queer, intersex, women, men, straight, old, young, persons who are differently able, and people on the spectrum. And thank God for those like Audre Lorde who defined and named intersectionality for us. She said there is no such thing as a single issue person because we do not live single issue lives. We can't untangle our race from being queer, or being differently abled from being gay, or being trans from our immigration status. Noticing and honoring the fullness of our being means that we strengthen our movement. Intersectionality has taught us that our separate moving streams can come together and be one mighty river, as we have seen here in this church that we have created for ourselves, and have no doubts. Wherever this river flows, every living thing that moves will thrive. Thank you.